special visit, let me tell you that we have interpreter services in case some people here would like to ask questions in Dzongkha. With that, I turn over to our ambassador to give his remarks. Sudeep, over to you.
Thank you, Randhir. Good evening to all of you. Very happy to see you all in Bhutan, in Thimphu. Dear friends, we have had since the morning the 3 or 4 main components of what has happened during the day. First was the arrival at Paro Airport around 10:30 a.m. The Honorable Prime Minister of India was received by Honorable Prime Minister of Bhutan at the airport. Although there was a function going on at the Changlimitang Stadium, but Prime Minister of Bhutan, of course, thought that he should be personally present to welcome and greet the Prime Minister of India. There was a guard of honor. There was a ceremonial traditional welcome at the airport for the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister of India from the airport directly went to the function at the Changlimitang Stadium. After that, the second important activity during the day has been the function at the Changlimitang Stadium, which was, I think, full of crowd. People are estimating 25 to 30,000 people were present at the stadium. Both leaders addressed the people at the Changlimitang Stadium, or celebration ground as it is called, and the speeches are available in the public domain. But you would notice that both the leaders highlighted that it is a series of things which are taking place. It's a very, very special occasion for Bhutan, and therefore also a very important occasion from India's perspective, as the leaders highlighted. There is a global peace prayer going on in Bhutan over this 2-week period. We are in the middle of that. I mean, 1 week has just ended, and Bhutan coming forward to organize peace prayer for global peace is a very noble objective, and that objective, I think, is what India shares. So that's an important dimension to India's participation in the function which is taking place around peace prayer. Prime Minister of India also mentioned, and His Majesty the King of Bhutan acknowledged the presence of sacred Piprawa relics of Lord Buddha, which are in Bhutan for this 10-day period, coinciding with the peace and global peace prayer. So that both sides underline the importance of spiritual and religious connections relating to Buddhism between the two countries. So that was, I think, another important aspect which was referred by both the leaders at the stadium, and provides, I think, the relevance of the presence of Prime Minister of India in Bhutan at this time. The third important factor which both leaders highlighted was about the importance of the relationship for both countries, importance of the relationship for each other, I mean, from Bhutan's perspective, from India's perspective. Prime Minister of India underlined that it was his commitment of himself and of India to Bhutan which made him also participate at this very, very special, very important occasion for Bhutan and for India. He talked about India-Bhutan relationship as a relationship of values, of emotions, of peace, of progress, a partnership of trust and development. And as Prime Minister described it, he said that it is a model for the region. His Majesty the King of Bhutan also underlined the exponential growth in the relationship between the two countries. He also described it as a legacy legacy from father to son, and which has such a very, very strong foundation. And then he also committed that we need to build upon and take forward the relationship. The event, the central feature of the event also was marking the 70th birthday of His Majesty, the 4th King of Bhutan. As the King of Bhutan mentioned, that it was a milestone event in the life of for what he called was among, or perhaps the most extraordinary leader of Bhutan, and he as Prime Minister of India mentioned, he assumed reign of Bhutan at a young age of 16 years and then continued uh, to run or lead the country for 34 years, and both the King of Bhutan and the Prime Minister of India paid tribute. They highlighted various aspects of the contributions of the personality for this and what Bhutan has achieved under the fourth King of Bhutan, and also what it has done to the relationship between the two countries. Prime Minister of India mentioned about the wisdom, about the simplicity, about the courage, about the selfless service of His Majesty the Fourth King of Bhutan, and talked about his vision, his affection to the people of Bhutan, and several of his contributions for the relationship between the two countries. So, and of course, I think it was very touching for both sides, the fact that despite you are all aware of the blast in Delhi which took place yesterday evening, and I think in that background the fact that Prime Minister of India considered it still important to be present here, and the appreciation and acknowledgement of that by the King of Bhutan and the fourth king, I think, was notable. The King of Bhutan led special prayers. The prayers, he said, were also dedicated to India, to the Prime Minister, and his vision for the future of India. He also dedicated the prayers to the victims and the people who suffered in the incident in Delhi yesterday evening. In the afternoon, we had audience of the Prime Minister of India on the King of Bhutan. At that audience, the Prime Minister of Bhutan was also present, and the two leaders discussed in some detail different aspects of the relationship. I think they talked about very, very close, very familial, very special relations between the two countries that was underlined. They touched upon various features of the relationship. They talked about the very strong development partnership and its implementation which is going on, which Prime Minister of India had also committed when he visited in March 2024. The leaders talked about the importance of connectivity, which leads to opportunity and prosperity, and they talked about the road connections, the railway connections, the new project for railway connectivity from two cities in Bhutan, from Samse and from Gelefu, the Samse going to Banarghat and from Gelefu to Kokrajhar, and that construction will be taking place over the coming years, and the importance of railway connectivity for the access to Indian economy and for the people of Bhutan through an additional way in addition to the road connectivity which is present. The Prime Minister of India announced the opening of immigration checkposts near the Gelefu border, which will be important for investors, businesses, and the people to be traveling across the border as the Gelefu Mindfulness City project unfolds in the coming years. Energy partnership was another very important feature of the discussions, and I think energy has had a long history both in the Indian side and the Prime Minister of India and the King of Bhutan. Both of them underlined the fact that we have the foundation for the hydropower partnership between the two countries was laid during the period of the fourth King of Bhutan in 1970s. Over a period of time, it has had enormous achievements. There was, after the meeting, the joint inauguration of this 1020 megawatt Punat Sangchu 2 hydropower project, and that project has added 40% to the total installed power generation capacity in Bhutan, which I think is a very important, very big step forward. Prime Minister of India also mentioned about another hydropower project on which both countries have agreed to move forward. That project has been in the work, the Punat Sangchu 1 project. There was around energy, if I have to add, basically the renewable energy is a very important dimension which is getting added because it enhances energy security of Bhutan and also brings India's skills capabilities in that area. So the two countries signed and exchanged in the presence of the two leaders an MOU on cooperation in the field of renewable energy, which will cover solar energy, wind energy, biomass energy, green hydrogen, and tree storage and energy storage in general. So which I think is a very good beginning. It's a very substantive memorandum of understanding in which two countries will look at joint design and development of energy projects in all of these areas. At the same meeting, there was an announcement of a line of credit of Indian rupees 4,000, which translates into null 40 billion, which has been kind of extended and after the meeting today. The other aspects which were highlighted or underlined at the meeting were about youth exchanges, about greater people-to-people connections, and about cultural and spiritual connections between the two countries. The part of the you might be aware of, in September first week, there was an inauguration of a royal Bhutanese temple in a city called Rajgir, which is a holy city connected also to the life of Lord Buddha. So that was a second Buddhist temple. There is already several decades ago a royal Buddhist monastery in the town of Bodh Gaya. The second one was inaugurated in September, for which His Holiness J. Khenpo and the Prime Minister of Bhutan were in India. Today, the Prime Minister of India also announced that on the request of the government of Bhutan, government of India will be providing land for another third Buddhist temple in the town of Varanasi. So apart from that, I think we had two more agreements which were signed between the two countries. There was an agreement on cooperation in the field of health and medicine. And health and medicine is a long ongoing area. There is a lot of work has been done in the past, over the last decade or two, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of hospital building. When Prime Minister of India was here, there was inauguration of a big mother and child care hospital in the city of Thimphu. So this MOU, which was signed and exchanged today in the presence of the two leaders, lays the foundation for greater set of activities, skill development, joint research, biotechnology, and traditional medicine, and also in the field of pharmaceuticals. There is a very interesting component on which both countries will try to work forward to increase capacities, increase technical capabilities, and perhaps joint research in the field of health and medicine. The final agreement which was signed was the MOU between one of the leading, perhaps the leading centers, not just in India, but also in Asia, called NIMHANS, NIMHANS, and something called PEMA Secretariat, which is a leading organization in the field of mental health in Bhutan. So the two of them have agreed to work together on building capacity in the field of mental health. So it again involves developing people who can man and provide these services in Bhutan, doing some joint research, and bringing, I think, the capabilities and achievements of NIMHANS for the purpose of the activities of PEMA Secretariat in Bhutan. So I think these three important MOU signatures and the decisions announced from the line of credit to the Varanasi temple and the Gelefu immigration checkpoint were key specific decisions in terms of which will provide new fillip, and of course taking forward cooperation in different areas, as I said, on connectivity, on the area of rail links, on the area of trade and economic cooperation, development partnership, and implement. So I think it's a very, very substantive, very useful discussions. I think they will give a new fillip and take forward what we call a very special friendship and very unique relations between India and Bhutan over the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think you have covered most of the points. Just to add few elements. On program side, later in the evening, Prime Minister will attend a royal banquet, which is being hosted by the King of Bhutan in the honor of Prime Minister. Tomorrow morning, Prime Minister will have a royal audience with His Majesty the Fourth King, and Prime Minister will also participate in the Global Peace Prayer Festival before his departure. In terms of outcomes, Ambassador has explained in detail, presented in detail various outcomes, but we will be providing you, sharing with you the specific details for your ready reference. Thank you.
With that, we open the floor for questions. Sahil, you go first.
Sir, I'm Sahil Pandey from MEA News Agency. Talking about the line of credit, 4,000 crores, which has been decided. Any particular focus areas and any term of line of credit and priority sector where Bhutan shown interest to use the line of credit? Thank you.
So, as you know, Government of India has been extending lines of credit its partner countries to support their developmental efforts. We have extended such lines of credits in our neighborhood and beyond. This will be the first line of credit for Bhutan, and its focus is going to be energy sector. We are always guided by the priorities of the recipient country, our partner country. So eventually it will be for the government of Bhutan to select its projects, which will be funded under this concessional line of credit. I must specify that this is a concessional line of credit which is being extended by Government of India.
More questions? Please.
Good evening. My name is Sangirathan. I'm with the Business Bhutan. During the Prime Minister Modi's address in the morning, this morning, we heard that India will promote or help the investor, and they will also construct, set up an immigration checkpost. So do you have some specific plan, how India will help in Gulf of Mindfulness cities investor?
We have more questions. We can club them together. Yeah, please.
So I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from DT India. Prime Minister spoke about how connectivity represents opportunity and prosperity. There's a lot of anticipation around rail link between the two countries. What was discussed between the leaders in this meeting?
Do we have more? Yeah, we can go. There's a question there. Yeah.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Since like P2 Punatangchu Hydropower project has been inaugurated officially today, so what is the tariff rate decided between Bhutan and India about the P2?
I think we can take these questions and then perhaps come back for more.
So the question on the Gelefu Mindfulness City. So I think, as you are aware of, I think it's a vision of His Majesty the King of Bhutan, and it's a project in the making. It's kind of evolving. The formal announcements were done around last year, etc. And as His Majesty the King also mentions, it's a little more medium-term, long-term project. So we have been in touch, both Government of India and Government of Bhutan, at various levels, at official levels, at the level of the leaders, in terms of understanding that vision and trying to look at what are the ways in which it can be contributed. So the Prime Minister of India mentioned today about the decision on establishing. So right now between India and Bhutan, the movement is fairly streamlined. So this immigration checkpost will enable, as the Prime Minister mentioned, visitors, those who may be coming for miscellaneous various purposes, and also for investors or businesses to come. So we have, as you know, in the main international airport in Bhutan is in Paro. So it really provides access in that sense for people traveling, coming from all over the world for the Gelefu Mindfulness City, coming to, say, Guwahati Airport is a nearby airport, and from there being able to cross over and reach Gelefu through in a faster, shorter, expedited manner. So it's the announcement today was an effort to facilitate businesses and other travelers, tourists and everybody else who would like to come. So it's a small step in that direction. And I think related to that is also the kind of railway connectivity project. So that's also in a way links to Gelefu, because the 69-kilometer railway line from Gelefu to Kokrajhar, which will be built over the coming years. So that will also is another level of connectivity which it provides to Gelefu. So I think as the vision develops and as the progress takes place, I'm sure this relationship and this close consultation at official and senior leaders level on Gelefu will unfold into greater cooperation, greater contribution, and perhaps helping in realizing the vision of the Gelefu Mindfulness City of His Majesty the King.
So, as Ambassador mentioned, rail links are part of our efforts to enhance connectivity between India and Bhutan, and we've taken a number of measures. We have strengthened road connectivity. We have established immigration checkpost and integrated checkpost like the one in Daranga. We have set up an inland waterways terminal in Jogighopa, which is also near Gelefu. And the two rail links that we are going to establish, connecting Banarhat in West Bengal to Samse and Kokrajhar in Assam to Gelefu. This is a mega project. It will cost over 4,000 crore. This will establish for the first time rail connectivity for Bhutan. It will provide access to vast Indian rail network, and it will enable Bhutan to export easily, access the vast Indian market and even beyond through these rail links. During the royal audience, His Majesty conveyed his deep appreciation for this project to Prime Minister. This project is going to be fully funded by Government of India, and Prime Minister assured His Majesty that he has given very clear direction to the officials to ensure its timely implementation. We have already constituted a joint project steering committee, which is going to hold its first meeting very soon, and it will be our endeavor to complete this project as per the agreed timeline. As regards Pune 2 project, again, this is a major milestone in the realization of the energy partnership vision which was presented during Prime Minister's last visit. This project is fully functional. In fact, the energy supply to India has already commenced. We have also reached an understanding on tariff, but there are certain steps to formalize that. As and when the tariff will be formalized, it will be announced and made known to the general public. But this project is a shining symbol of our vibrant partnership. Thank you.
Do we have more questions? Okay, we have a question here and then a question there, please.
मैं निखिल सिंह डीडी न्यूज़ से सर जानना चाहता हूं कि ये जो P2 प्रोजेक्ट के उद्घाटन से किस तरह से भारत और भूटान के बीच में जो ऊर्जा रणनीति है और जो बिजली निर्यात है, इसको लेकर के कोई ठोस इसमें परिवर्तन देखने को मिल सकता है, और खासतौर पर भूटान के आर्थिक क्षमता और संस्थागत क्षमता निर्माण के विशेष संदर्भ में।
Hello, I'm reporter Sigdema from PBS, Bhutan Broadcasting Service. So I have two questions. First one is regarding the MOU signed with the India regarding health. So there are lots of aspects that was mentioned, like drug diagnostics and also the research that was mentioned by you. Also regarding that, is there like a priority right now that the India has in mind on what is the first health aspects that the India want to work with Bhutan? Maybe details on what the first one will be. And secondly, regarding, as you know, that Bhutan is right now on their 13th five-year plan. For that, what other big projects can we expect as a country with the India? That's all.
Yeah, we can take these questions.
Just to division of work between us, I think I'll take the easier question. Thank you. So the 13th five-year plan is, I think Prime Minister has mentioned, it's a commitment of 100 billion Nultron, which he had also announced when he had come here in March of 2024. So I think this is at an implementation stage, and the 13th five-year plan contributions have 4 components. There are projects of different kinds, and these projects are under implementation in various parts of Bhutan. So these are in very wide ranging of some areas, from road construction, healthcare facilities, educational facilities, the financial facilities. The second aspect is what we call high impact community development projects. So these projects, there are about 570 projects spread across perhaps every possible area you can imagine. These are small scale community level projects which are also very effective. So I think it is the implementation of the India's support for the 13th five-year plan, which is from 2024 to 2029, was touched upon by the leaders during the discussion. There is a lot of, I think, appreciation for the fact that India is extending that support and the kind of contribution it is making. And I think there is a lot of satisfaction with the implementation and the pace at which various projects in different areas are being implemented, including something called Economic Stimulus Program in Bhutan. So that is that. On health, maybe also I can just briefly mention the healthcare. The MOU is basically, the MOU is more like a facilitating document. So the MOU provides for formation of a joint working group, which may be led at a mutually agreed level between the Ministry of Health of Bhutan and the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India. And they have identified these 7-8 broad areas which I mentioned. So at some stage soon, either virtual meeting or physical meeting between the 2 senior officials from both sides, they will identify what projects will be taken up. Because as we have mentioned in the previous the remarks from Additional Secretary, that it is basically mutually agreed, and we also respect a lot about priorities of the Royal Government of Bhutan and Bhutan as a country. So they will identify that, okay, is it in terms of capacity building of people, like personnel, etc., their education, training, skill building, etc., or whether they will be in the field of pharmaceutical regulations or diagnostic capacities, etc., or it is digital health, or it is disease prevention and disease treatment in specific areas like cardiovascular, cancer, mental health, etc., which have been agreed, or it is traditional medicine or biotechnology. So that will be a process which will unfold now after the signing of the MOU today.
जहाँ तक आपका प्रश्न है हमारे ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में आपसी सहयोग का, तो हमारा सहयोग एक तरह से पूरे क्षेत्र और पूरे विश्व के लिए एक मॉडल है. ये बहुत ही सफल सहयोग रहा है और इसके तहत अब तक हम 5 प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं पुनात सांगचू 2 को मिलाकर. और पुनात सांगचू 2 अकेले ही भूटान की एनर्जी जनरेशन कैपेसिटी में 40% की वृद्धि करेगा. प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने भी अपने भाषण में इसका जिक्र किया था. भूटान का प्रमुख निर्यात जो भारत को है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एक्सपोर्ट है. इनफैक्ट भूटान के पूरे एक्सपोर्ट का 30% लगभग भारत को एनर्जी एक्सपोर्ट से आता है. और इसके अलावा जब भूटान में लीन सीजन में ऊर्जा जनरेशन में कमी होती है तो भारत से भी ऊर्जा की सप्लाई होती है. तो ये एक बहुत ही अच्छा सहयोग है, आपसी सहयोग है. पुनात सांगचू 2 के अलावा आज हमने एक और बहुत महत्वपूर्ण घोषणा प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने की. हमारी आपसी सहमति हो गई है कि किस तरह से पुनात सांगचू 1 जो कुछ समय से रुका हुआ था, काफी समय से रुका हुआ था, उसको भी अब कंप्लीट किया जाए. तो अब हमारा संयुक्त प्रयास यही होगा कि उस प्रोजेक्ट को भी हम जल्द से जल्द पूरा करें. इसके अलावा ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में और भी नए आयाम जुड़ रहे हैं. अभी तक हमारा जो कोऑपरेशन था वो 2 सरकारों के बीच में गवर्नमेंट टू गवर्नमेंट था. अब बहुत सारी भारतीय कंपनियां पहल कर रही हैं और भारत भूटान की हाइड्रो पावर पॉलिसी के तहत प्रोजेक्ट्स इंप्लीमेंट कर रही है और इसमें से कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स में काम शुरू भी हो गया है. तो कुल मिला के हमें लगता है कि हमारा कोऑपरेशन इस क्षेत्र में और बढ़ेगा और जो जॉइंट विजन फॉर एनर्जी पार्टनरशिप पिछले वर्ष भारत और भूटान ने लीडरशिप लेवल पे रिलीज किया उसका रियलाइजेशन सही समय पर होगा. धन्यवाद.
A question on electricity trade, and also I think there's something called Electricity Exchange of India, and there are from even other projects apart from these intergovernmental projects. There is a lot of trading happens continuously. So there are several power trading companies in India to get talking to the Bhutanese, either DGPC, the Druk Green Energy Power Corporation, and through others. So there is a lot of trade which happens based on the demand and supply. So I think this partnership, one is it has this dimension of contributing to energy security of each other. When there is a demand in Bhutan, the power can be bought from India, and similarly from Bhutan when there is surplus power, especially at the time when it is in need in India. I think that complementarity fits in very, very well and is very productive. It's also, I think, in terms of volume contributes a lot. So I think this energy partnership have, apart from hydropower projects, the electricity trade, and now solar energy, and the MOU on renewable energy, which is, so it's a very, very wide-ranging thing. It is reaching new dimensions. There are transmission lines being built between the two countries, and it's really a very solid partnership which is in mutual benefit and is, I think, contributing to the relationship in a very big way. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, we come to the end of this press briefing. We shall keep you updated with more developments on this state visit. Thank you very much.